Hello, guys, gals, pals, everybody in between. Welcome this weekend to the exhibition match on IPL Versus, hosted by IPL Platoon. My name is Saf or Safirea, however you want to call me. I'm here with Falco, my dear friend Falco. How are you doing? Happy Saturday, Falco. Happy weekend.
Happy, frigid, cold Saturday. Honor to be here with you, Saf, for the second ever IPL Versus. You know, a little bit of a hiatus with Ludi going on. We had that fantastic set between Moonlight and Last Resort months ago, but we are ready to bring this back into full swing against two teams we've seen go head-to-head multiple times in many tournaments so far, Overtime and Alliance Moon. Both of these teams have been really climbing the ranks and at the upper echelon of this lower level. So it is going to be fantastic to see. Before we get started, let's take a look at Overtime and get a closer look at some of these players and their weapon pools that they have to offer. Elemental, their captain, we know him, we love him. Definitely one of the GOAT streamers here on IPL. Streamer extraordinaire. Yes, we've both had the pleasure working with him and looking at the rest of the team. Monkey and Elemental pretty much play the same weapon pools there. You guys can see all these lovely images here on screen. Z-Look is going to be kind of their Slayer player who's going to be, you know, pulling out the Carbon, the Blaster, the Octobrush. Definitely one of the unpredictable players. But Saf, the most interesting thing here, I think, is Melomania, the one-trick Dreadringer. That is all we have about them. A one-trick Dreadringer. You don't see that very often. You don't see Dreadringer often at all, but especially for a team that, you know, that's pretty much all they play. And then rounding out their squad is going to be Bubbles, the backline player, bringing out the ballpoint pencil and occasionally the squeezer. And Saf, taking a look at some of these head-to-head results, we mentioned both of these teams played each other plenty of times. Most of the time, not even being a clean sweep except for that core clash result, but these two teams, they really know how to compete with each other.
Yeah, they surely do. I mean, look at that. Two different Minnow Cups just kind of weeks apart in the Ludi season as well, our most recent Ludi season that we had, and Coral Clash, which I'm excited to... It's a tournament I'm interested to know a little bit more about. I've only been seeing stuff about it on Twitter. I've never really seen anything about it on Discord or having like an official announcement. Maybe I'm just not paying close enough attention, but that seems like a really interesting tournament. But now, Falco, one thing I want to mention is last month in Low Ink, Overtime wants a Low Ink W. They've been working really hard for it. They have been trying to show up in Alpha Bracket consistently like they did last month. I mean, they put up such a good fight last month. Moving their way through Alpha Bracket and almost getting into the top 4, getting so close to a Low Ink win. And there's a reason why they haven't tried to result themselves out of Low Ink. They're really determined to win Low Ink. It's been shared before with Overtime that they want to win it, and so they're trying to play it patiently. They don't want to out-result themselves, and they keep showing up to Low Ink every single month because they want to take home the crown for that, which I think is really cool. And especially because Overtime's been around for so long. I mean, June of 2022 in Splatoon years, that's a long time.
That is a long time. 18 months with 26 different players, but now they are rounding out the squad. And most of these players, this is either their first or second team. So we are going to look forward to this a lot. Let's take a look over at Alliance Moon, their opponents. Now, we mentioned that they've played against Overtime quite often. Ace is here at the top, going to be bringing out the Stamper and the Wiper along with the Rapid Deco occasionally. And then you have Shark, who's going to be playing Tri-Stringer, Zap, Splash, and the S-Blast 91, a weapon we don't get to see very often. And with Gold here, another wonderful player that's going to be bringing out the Roller occasionally. Lox is definitely going to be on this the Slayer role. With the Glugas too, Glugas is going to be such a fun weapon to see. Mudkip going to be bringing out the Machine, and then Timo is going to be having the 96 Scout Deco, which... Again, that's not a weapon we see as a one-trick a lot, so that's why I'm so excited to see this. And, you know, we mentioned both of these teams have been kind of growing at the same pace, too. So, Alliance Moon, they've been at the top of Low Ink. They've done so well in Minnow Cup as well. 3rd in Minnow Cup, Splat Zones Edition, 1st in Clay and Blitz back-to-back. So once again, both of these at the very top of the low-level bracket, and both of them really wanting a dub. And I think what's really impressive for Alliance Moon, coming from Div 7 in Ludi Season 13 to Div 5, that is a huge jump We had the pleasure of
Huge.
seeing them on Ludi tonight earlier this season, so it's been fantastic. And I know these teams are ready to rock and roll. This will be our 6th head-to-head matchup in recent times, and we will be starting off on Splatzone's Robo Ramen. So let's take a moment to talk about how this is going to work. This is going to be a best-of-9 series that these teams are going to be playing, and they're going to have very traditional counter picks that we typically see in a tournament. Now, with best-of-9, of course, you're going to be having more games, but you cannot play on the same mode that you just won on, and you cannot play on the same map that you just won on as well. So, of course, with a best of 9, we're going to see repeat modes often, but I think, not being able to choose that same mode is going to be important as well. And here's a lovely graphic that is going to be updating every time a map or mode is eligible for these teams to be playing. So you can see both of them can obviously choose any of these that are available on the map right now, but as time goes on, we're going to be seeing potentially one all completely orange, one all completely teal, as these teams do play it out. So very, very traditional format here that we have for our counter picks, and it should be a very good one.
Yeah, it'll be nice too to have like a record of what was won and what cannot be picked and what can be picked kind of thing, because I think when you put it in a visual sense like that, I feel like it can kind of change the discussion versus just talking about it and just kind of trying to picture it in your mind. You know what I mean?
Oh yeah, and it makes our job easier. It makes it easy, so we're not like, no, can they do this? Can they do that? No, we had JPEG, who's our lovely producer. We had him debrief us a little bit before we went live to tell us what's going on. So we appreciate that. We definitely appreciate JPEG here, especially I know he's been working really hard to get this IPL versus going, and again, this is only the 2nd time we've had it, so it's gonna be really fantastic. And I don't think there's many times that you've seen teams go head-to-head this often within the span of a year. Maybe at the top level, that's true, where there's not enough teams to really that you have to face, but for a lower level, that's definitely the case. But let's hop into game 1 here. Splatzone's Robo Ramen. Love these overlays, by the way. This is our first peek.
I'm rubbing my hands together so fast right now. Not only because I'm cold, but just trying to explain my excitement via my hands. Dread Ringer, Falco.
Yeah, this is exactly what we talked about Mo Mania being the Dread Ringer one trick, and same with Timo, who's going to be playing that 96 Scout. Now, that's something we typically see on a Clan Blitz match, not always zones, not any other mode, but they're going to be bringing it out here right now, and Overtime is going to be getting that first cap. They are going to be having this Reef Slider online. Melomania is going to be trying to find an opportunity to push forward, and they really don't need to, because Elemental has been popping off here with the zap, or the splash early on, getting some picks, chasing down the shot players, so they're going to be going down. But yeah, Overtime in a very good control here at the beginning.
Yeah, and I think having Elemental on this splash here is absolutely huge, because that's something that they've been practicing since day 1 of Splatoon 3. So they have this kit in the bag. They know exactly how they want to play it and what makes them feel comfortable and most aggressive, I guess, if you will. Because, I mean, Alliance Food has not had any foot to stand on to push back into the zone, and especially when you have that crab tank in a great position there on the top. But you can see Ace is going to respond with one of their own, and finally, Alliance Moon breaking through to the other side, getting some points on the board, and opting to penalize Overtime.
Yeah, it was really good that they had that opportunity. They're looking to hold on to it, but I swear, taking down that Reef was going to be huge, because I think this is one of those zones that one Reef Slider can pretty much just cap the entire zone, so that is going to be huge. Elemental going to be bringing out the crab, going to be taking one down, another member going to be going down. Oh, and there's going to be a really nice jump out there from Ace, who's going to be going back to spawn. So, unfortunately for Alliance Moon, they weren't able to cap it for very long, but they are going to give quite an overtime for an overtime for overtime.
True,
for these
true.
penalty points too. Hey, we love the good name in the pun. And look at this. That is going to be Z-Look popping off with a roller, taking down one, taking down two, back into the zone. Sap, they look unstoppable.
Oh my goodness, they almost jumped off the ledge there, tried to go in for the 3rd pick, but had to back away. But you can see Taimu going in Kraken form here, trying to pressure the Dreadringer and push Mello off of that higher ground. But Mello going to be successful in that fight, and helping to take the zone back in Overtime's favor. But when Alliance Moon has a crab of their own and they have Juice online with 2 members down, of course, that zone is going to be flipping back into their possession, especially Overtime being 3 members down. Now everybody's spawning in, but it's hard when Alliance Moon is pushing forward into your base.
Yeah, that pencil player, they were just like, I gotta dip. I gotta get out of here.
I gotta go.
And they're one of those weapons that, like, you can't paint your feet. You can't really do anything, so that was huge for them. But Alliance Moon, this is a position we haven't really seen them quite yet, which is really on the offensive side. And they've been doing such a good job getting some paint, you know, just really applying some pressure and pushing up. Z-Look with a wonderful shot there on the Zuka is going to be taking down one. Sharking to find the Kraken, but no. Ooh, the Kraken comes out just in time. That is going to be huge for Timu as they are going to be pushing up, chasing down the Dreadringer, but they're going to be going down. Oh, and Melomania taking down 2, and that's going to be the wipeout.
Yeah, Mello was in a great spot right there for going in for 2, but I really want to talk about Z-Look absolutely parrying the Kraken that was popped there and getting away from danger before anything worse could happen. I mean, geez, the amount of reaction time that you need to have to be successful at that is insane. And here comes Z-Look again, pushing in and taking out the crab right at the end and just doing a little dance, making it a little love, getting down tonight, overtime, taking game number 1.
Yeah, well-deserved little squid bag there from Z-Look. They were popping off towards the end, and oh man, they made it so fun. I swear, that's why I love watching weapons like that. And I mean, like, Carbon Roller's not, like, super unconventional. Obviously, we don't see it for every game, but, like, anytime we do, I'm like, my eyes are on it. My eyes are on it. And I am all here. The thing is, like, I am all here, and I know both of these teams are all here for the shenanigans. Like, so there's there's gonna be nothing that we see on this broadcast that's gonna be, like, malicious of any sort. Like, these teams, they want to butt heads, they want to show off against each other.
Yeah, and that's what's so fun about it, because it's like, they've played each other so many times in so many different pressured situations that at this point they're just like, hey, you know what? I recognize you. It's like the meme from Always Sunny in Philadelphia where Charlie and Max see each other across the bar. And they both just like walk in and they're like, hey. Like maybe get a Spider-Man point in there from across the room. And so like they're so familiar with one another, and so it's nice when they're like, hey, you know what? Like, we have kind of a rivalry. Why don't we show everybody else?
Yeah, I know, for real. And that's what they want to broadcast too, and that's what we love to see. Obviously, you guys are here watching. You're here for the support, and that was such a fantastic game 1. I'm interested to see what Z-Look is going to bring out, because the other weapons they have up their arsenal are going to be Blaster, Octobrush, and Shot. Now, Shot, we know Shot, Splatter Shot, yada yada you. But Blaster and Octobrush. Yeah. Blaster and Octobrush, I think especially on like a tower control or a Rainmaker can really come in handy. So we will see. But yeah, with game 2 happening, remember we do have counterpicks. So Alliance Moon will be choosing their counterpick, and now they can really choose anything. So all we know is that overtime they can't choose spot zones. They can't do that right now. So, you know, luckily they don't have to worry about it. They're not making a counterpick, but right now it is not good for them to choose. And then same with Robo Ramen. So again, I love this graphic that JPEG has put together. It makes it very easy for us to see what are eligible for counterpicks. And of course, as we go down, honestly, I think it's like a puzzle. As we get closer to a potential Game 9, it's going to get even more and more different. But we are going to be moving on to Clams Museum D'Alfonsino, Saf, and Alliance Move with having the 96 player on their side. Do you think we're going to see some crack and cheese?
Why? I mean, why not? Why the heck not? Because that's... I mean, that's the perfect map for it, and it's the perfect mode for it. So it would make sense if they did do that. But at the same token, I remember thinking back to January 2020, or excuse me, December 2023 low ink. Overtime with Z-Look on their teams, Z-Look was using Carbon for a lot of their run through that. So I would be really surprised if they decided to change it up and not to use Carbon Roller, just because that was kind of their bread and butter throughout their low ink playthrough. So that would be interesting. But looking in here, look at this, Falco. We have a replay. We get a little replay action, and overtime here you can see the Z-Look right there getting a nice double pick with the carbon roller. That weird little jump that they were able to do on the side, that was wild. If they had gotten the triple pick there, that would have been insane. But see, that's what I was talking about. They knew. They read the situation so quickly and parried the Kraken and escaped from danger. Which is just insane. That kind of reaction time is absurd, and it just shows that with the synergy of Overtime at their back, like they really are trying their best to look for this win, and they can handle it. They can handle the pressure.
Yeah, they really can. And I love too about that Kraken. It came out at just the perfect time for Teemu. They're like, nope, I'm here, because I think if you're a second too late, then it's done. And that was a really good Kraken. And I love at the end there, we just saw Zealux just like, hey, I'm vibing. I'm gonna take down the crab and give you a well-deserved squid bag to take this one. But yeah, Saf, that was just game one, like we had mentioned earlier at the end of the first game. And a lot of back and forth. We love to see it. So I think with Clamblitz kind of taking it a little bit slower, you know, we can kind of relax a little bit. Maybe. I want to be surprised, obviously. And of course, the only thing we can really predict is the Dreadringer from Melomania, and Teemu is going to be having the 96. So anything else is going to be a surprise for us. But let's see what we're dealing with for this game. And taking a look at the loadouts, we're going to see the pencil, the shot, and the T-Tech come out on the side of Overtime. This Squeezer and the Stamper, the Neo Stamper, along with... Oh wait, are they not playing... They're not... They fooled us. They're not playing 96. We were lied to.
Bamboozled!
We were bamboozled!
Oh my goodness. Okay, well, T-Tech versus T-Tech, so interesting. I'm not really that great with lies, so I guess we'll do our best here with the information that we have. One member of Overtime going down. Alliance Moon has pretty significant hold upon mid, but usually these first few minutes are just kind of neutral until you can get the man advantage, which Alliance Moon is showing that could be them at this moment here, with Teemu going to take the high ground, but Shark taking the low road and throwing in a power claim of their own down to the 60 mark within the first minute here for Alliance Moon.
Yeah, getting 2 of those power claims is going to be really good to kind of set the tone, and the basket's going to go up, but hey, that's better than just kind of the one-and-done push that a lot of teams typically get when the basket's open pretty early. But Overtime going to be making quick work of this, gathering back into mid. We're going to see Alliance Moon kind of struggle to get their footing a little bit as they don't have control of this ramp, which is going to be really crucial, and that's going to allow Zealux to push up, but unfortunately for them, they were forced in a 1v3 scenario, so they're going to be going down. No, Ace is going to be crabbing out, trying to take down the Pencil. The Pencil is going to be jumping out. So right now, Alliance Moon in a position to try and push forward. Avoiding those Zukas, did such a good job. But look at all these specials coming out on the side of Overtime, and there's just no way to avoid all of them, Saf.
Yeah, I see, look, once again, having such quick reaction time and just trying to take in that fight. Look at Melo coming in also for the assist as well. You can tell the callouts are being made, and Overtime is trying to work faster as they do have a 2-down scenario. Make it 3 with Alliance Moon and the respawn coming in. So Melo getting an opening push, taking down 2 with that reslider, is allowing Overtime some space to work with here. As one fireworks in the sky trying to escape, but follow-up is still being had down to the 54 mark. You can see Melo trying to hold it down here. Some other members trying to take it in and hang a left. Still getting a lot of follow-up in here, though, with 2 members down on Alliance Moon. They're just trying to prolong this push as long as they can, Falco.
Yeah, they're doing such a good job with that. I mean, they're going down 1 by 1, but they're allowing good jumps for their players to stay alive, and that's really what pushed them down to 24 in that moment. I swear, when you have the basket open for that long, it feels like an eternity when you're on the defending side just trying to hold on, and it is so difficult here. But Alliance Moon, they're going to be quick on this respawn, trying to take out Bubble there. Ace is going to be using the crab here on the spinner. Taimu is going to be holding 7 clams, going to be getting that power clam, and they do get it in with some of these strikes and wisely jumping down to avoid that the reef slider, and really doing a good job staying alive for quite some time. And it's just going to be the Stamper, but unfortunately they're not going to be anywhere near the basket, so that is going to be that push for Alliance Moon.
Yeah, and it looks like Bubbles was actually posted up on that top part for quite a while there. It seemed like the crab tank that came out from the Stamper player, they were working on trying to displace Bubbles a little bit, but I think that having Bubbles up at that top part is what prevented Alliance Moon, I think, from going any further, because that was just a little bit more poke that Overtime is able to have on their plat. But already, I mean, Alliance Move is and ready for action. They have a Power Clam at their disposal, their Pity Clam is online, and they have a really significant foothold on mid here with specials in waiting. So they're just waiting for the right time here, and it could be now, as 3 members of Overtime are now down. Bubbles opting to have to be pushed back, and with the Tri-Strikes coming in, Temu is going to once again continue to push for Alliance Moon here.
Yeah, they're trying, and they do get that power clam in. The other one, oh, that's going to be nice, and it's just going to be the Squeezer who's trying to score, and they are able to get a few in, so that was Lox who's able to get a few in, wisely jump out. No fireworks this time for Alliance Moon, but they were so close to knocking that out. Now both teams with pretty large penalty points, both are going to have over 30, as we have under 1 minute approaching right now, so Overtime probably going to need some overtime for themselves if they want to be able to take the lead. They're going to need 2 power claims at least to contend, and right now they just got to focus on staying alive, but Lox is locking them down right now, identifying all the members, paying attention to that power claim. I mean, Overtime did such a good job just like pawning it off, because obviously when you're holding onto it, it's a permanent point sensor, so but yeah, that is really nice for Alliance Moon to just be able to lock them down. But Overtime now, with a little bit more map control, hoping that they can pull something through in these next 12 seconds.
Yeah, but it looks like they might be able to do just that, Falco. They're already taking out Bubbles, their backline. They want to get rid of that poking right away. Mello trying to come in and defend the ramp area, but finds themselves in a 2 versus 1 scenario. And especially with Temu coming in with these Tri-Strikes here, they just need a few more clams to try to push forward and just help get their teammates in there. But the wipeout for Alliance Moon here, this is why Overtime has their name. I mean, it's in the name. The Tri-Zuka coming out, the Tri-Strike coming out to follow up. They have a power claim in their possession, and they're taking misses! Oh my gosh, but it misses so close.
Okay, to be honest, I don't even know if it scored, if it would have had enough time, because obviously it has to spin for a full second, but that was so close. Oh my goodness. And everything worked out perfectly for Overtime leading up to that moment. Literally, it was like, okay, we got the wipeout. We have the power clam. We're pushing through mid. We got this. All we need to do is do a layup and then cook from there, and then the miss. The miss.
We scorched the bottom. We scorched the broth.
Yeah, and the thing is, we've all been there, Saf. Like, we have all been there.
Yes.
And it's so tricky on that stage because you always wait. Like, okay, should I just run up and throw it in? Do I want to do something fancy, go on the spinner? And but when the spinner is moving, sometimes you just don't know what you're gonna be doing. You just don't know how to handle it. But that was so close.
Well, it's like at that point, every second mattered. And truly and honestly, if they didn't take the high ground, I don't think they would have had a choice. Like, I don't think they would have gotten as close as they did, because it probably came down to just maybe a few steps on that little grade up there for them to have the closeness for the ball to make contact. So it's just, oh my gosh, that's so silly.
Oh, that was so I love that match. And of course that was only game 2. Now both of these teams, luckily they did what we told them to do, which was tie it 1-1 after game 2. They're following they're going along with the script, which we love. So
okay, wait,
we're very
so just for the folks that are maybe just joining us, and also just like a review for me, can you explain the graphic and the coloring on here for us again?
Yes, of course. So you can see these are all the eligible maps and modes that these teams can pick. And we have pretty traditional counterpick formats here, where basically you can't counterpick the same mode that you recently won on, or the same map that was played. So right now, Alliance Moon, they cannot choose Clam Blitz when it is going to be their time to choose. But right now, it's Overtime's choice. Overtime is going to be choosing, but they are not eligible to choose any Splat Zones because they won Game 1 on Splat Zones. So they cannot go there. They can only do Tower Control, Rainmaker, or Clam Blitz. And they cannot choose Robo Ramen if they were to choose Clams, because that one was just chosen. So, again... After, let's assume Overtime wins this, then they would be eligible again to choose zones, but because zones was the most recent map that they won, or most recent mode that they won on, they cannot choose it. Again, such a fantastic way to show which maps modes are eligible, and of course those colors are going to change based on, based on as we progress. So it is it's always really nice. So let's take a look at some of these replays here, Saf, because this is where we saw, Alliance Moon, they get the first two, get those in, and over here I think is where overtime really starts to cook and prolong that basket.
Popped off. Mello getting the double there and opening up for Z-Look, and then Bubbles was able to follow up, only to be fireworked ultimately in the end. But it didn't matter, because overtime had such a significant lead, a 30-point lead with such a high penalty at that, with only 2 minutes left to go. But Alliance Moon was able to just pull it out at the end, and it all started right here with Timu trying to break in from that pillow, and then the jump from Ace, the lead was lost, and then they just had little bits of time for people to try to come in and throw in. But one thing I want to point out is that there's effort on both sides for knowing when to jump out, which I think is so major, because I feel like you have to jump out before you think you need to jump out, kind of thing. You know what I mean? And I feel like both teams have exhibited that so well. So here's overtime getting that wipeout. This is where this was the do or die scenario. They were trying to build that power clan. You could see Alliance Moon was trying to spawn in already. The Trizuka and the Tri-Strikes trying to open it up here. But look at just how, it was just a little bit away, facing a little bit away.
And that would not have, even if they scored, the overtime would have ended. I think the big mistake there was going up on the spinner, because as soon as it hit the ground, that's when the clock stopped. So I just think that was the mistake of the game. I don't want to blame anybody or anything, but you know what I mean? That was the thing that happened, which kind of cost them the game, prevented them from scoring.
A little bit of time, cost them some time.
It definitely. Okay, so we're moving on to game 3 here. This is going to be Rainmaker on Undertow Spillway. Again, this was overtime's counter pick. So we have not seen Rainmaker yet, but we're going to see Tumu bring out the knot. They're lying. We've been lied to. Wait, is he really?
Yeah.
Does he know? Hey, he's going
I'm just laughing.
Is he cooking that ability doubler? Yeah.
Oh my god. Whenever we play from the ink up and Splatfest is happening, we're always like, change your Splatfest shirt. Change your Splatfest shirt. Change your
Splatfest shirt. Elemental, what are you doing, bro? Hey, they're cooking. You know what? Let them cook.
Let them cook.
The thing is, there's no rules here. It's literally like a glorified scrim. So there's no rules of anything other than, what these teams agree on, and I don't think they care.
Oh my gosh, if nobody got me, Mello got me! If nobody got me, Mello got me! Alliance Moon getting wiped out by overtime. And
oh my gosh. So overtime is still going to try and cook this, and they're doing a good job. They're going to have a few players down, but I don't... Is Elemental running ability doubler on his shirt? JPEG, can you show us? What does he have?
Yes,
he is? He has ability doubler? It's ability doubler, yeah, okay.
Yes. Yes, but it's working. We're 3.5 minutes in, and overtime has gotten it down to the 30. And Alliance Moon keeps dropping like flies. Look at this.
Oh my goodness. You know what? Who are? Okay, Z. Look, we see you. We see you there. we see you. Oh. We see you cooking. We see the rest. Yeah, that was a really good Zuka shot there. Rainmaker's. Yeah. Okay, he knows we're talking about him. he knows we're on stream. But overtime, they are not done pushing this.
No.
They really aren't. And Alliance Moon, they did get 82, but that was
huge trade.
That was oh my god. That was really nice. Alliance Moon. Oh! Zuka kills left and right. How is this happening? Over and over again.
Oh my gosh. Oh my gosh. Look at them painting for their lives here. Locks and Shark on the left-hand side. Now we have a Crab Tank here and Juice coming out. This Alliance Moon is like, all right, let's get it going. Let's put it together. And let's push forward. And okay, 2 down. 2 down. Let Mello come through, but they're not going to be able to take the hit. 3 down. They do have the vacuum online though, but if they could just break the check here, things were looking up for Alliance Moon. They might still be.
Yeah, I think so. Yeah, they're not done yet. Shark is going to be trying to get some good picks there, but they're going to be going down. And okay, that checkpoint is going to be nice, but your Alliance Moon, you only have one player who's alive who's going to be Zuka-ing right now. So Melomania just wisely, just getting themselves in a good position to wait out the Zuka, push forward. But, not quite the anybody's game point quite yet, because pushing it up slick, pushing it around the bend can be a little tricky, and we know that Overtime had already done that quite a bit. The Rainmaker's going to reset, and that's going to be good too, but now I think we're just going to kind of see some stalemate pushes here. But Alliance Moon, they're the ones who really need to get some pushes going, but we'll see if Overtime has anything up their sleeve.
Yeah, and I'm wondering why they're delaying picking it up here. It looks like they are trying to, have a bit of a firefight going on, but there's already 3 members of Alliance Moon down, one of them now jumping in, but then see, it pushes them into the wipeout because the jump was called out there. And now you can see Overtime is going to take their sweet, sweet time coming back up this left-hand side here with the Rainmaker feeling pretty protected. But is the flank going to come out from Z-Look here as they're trying to paint this right-hand side, looking to see if there's going to be any drops, trying to pressure with Trizuka here. But Mello, unfortunately, going down. The backing's going to come out and provide a little bit of protection to give Z-Look a little space to work with here. Overtime is all forward, holding forward only and looking forward, no looking back.
And it's working for them. It's exactly working for them. They're able to push that from 20 to 30 and still getting some good clicks. The Reef Slider coming in, but Melomania is going to be going down. We see Overtime trying to jump in, finding an opportunity that they can. Z-Look here on the side. I was going to say they would be a good person to pick up that Rainmaker and push it forward. But no, Alliance Moon is going to be taking it in these last 30 seconds. They're going to have quite the uphill battle to try and climb, especially with a few of their players going down. Team is going to be going down too. It is just going to be the Stamper Neo who is going to be alive, and they are going to have to back up, but using the Crab able to take down Melomania, so that's going to be big too. But these last 10 seconds are going to be very crucial for Alliance Moon.
Yeah, they got to be playing this carefully. They've already burned 2 specials here, now moving into Overtime. Overtime going to be trying to take this left-hand side here. Bubbles trying to peek around. You can see Lox is trying to get some attention onto them, but Overtime is not feeding into it, especially with Z-Look trying to come through with this vacuum. You can see Shark trying to jump to the other side of the pedestal there from the Reef Slider, but unsuccessful in doing so. So Overtime taking us down to a 2-1. Well played by them. I mean, Alliance Moon, for the most part, they couldn't really get too much further past mid. They kept trying to, and they kept trying to get something cooking, but then it just kind of seemed like Overtime was able to stagger them throughout the game, and so there just wasn't a really significant push to be had by Alliance Moon there.
Right, that was definitely a game where all of the attention was at the beginning. You set the scene. You make your big moves early on. It's like Survivor, making big moves. Okay, there's like 2 people who probably get that reference. But then after that, it just becomes it just becomes a stalemate. After that, I love the GG Reef Slider too. That's not something you see very often, but like just in Rainmaker, like here we go. We're gonna get you. But yeah, so that I think that definitely would have been Overtime's game to lose, like because they had such a dominant lead at the beginning. And Alliance Moon, they're able to trickle up, get some points here and there. But here's a look at the beginning where Team is gonna be taking it, gonna be going down. So this is really Alliance Moon's only push at the beginning, and that ended in a very early wipeout.
An early wipe, and then this is where, too, that Overtime just acted so quickly, especially with Mello and the Rainmaker shot to follow up. Mello was super protected. They got 2 down scenario. They helped with an assist down below there, opting to get Alliance Moon into the wipeout again. And then once Alliance Moon picked up the Rainmaker to try to push forward, again, they found themselves almost in a wipeout scenario and just incredibly staggered throughout these next couple of minutes here, as this is the moment, Squid Bags included, where Overtime was able to pop that pedestal, and then they got it down to the 30 mark. And then I think later on, we had Elemental picking up that Rainmaker and getting it all the way to the 20 with the same antics and going the same direction. Like, nobody opted to take the right-hand side once.
No, and the right side, it's good for a first initial checkpoint, just to say you got a checkpoint, you don't have to worry about it later, but it's so hard to make a strategic push. beyond that point. With, kind of having the ramp and the slick, it's hard to get the rest of your team in front of you and to push up. So I don't really blame either team for doing that, especially because Overtime got that checkpoint quickly, and it didn't seem like Alliance Moon were able to get in that position at all. But yeah, we do see the GG Reef Slider at the end. But hey, remember, there are predictions after every game for the next game. So rather than like who's going to win this set, bet your points. You can bet after every game. Bet your channel points after every game that happens. You guys have the opportunity to crush it with channel points. Seth, how many channel points do you have in IPL?
I have 31.5k. And I feel good about that.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. Get out of here.
I have.
Say something,
okay,
but I decided
anybody,
not to.
I know we're on mic. We're on a hot mic. Okay, game 4, Spot Zone's Hagglefish. So this is going to be Alliance Moon's counter pick, and this is one of my personal favorites that they're going to be choosing. And once again, Teemu, they're not. This is a lie. We've been lied to. Never have pulled out 96 except for the first game. But that's fine. We still appreciate them. But the pencil's going to be coming back out on the side of Overtime. So they're going to be taking that first cap. Of course, they're going to be having that juice as well to help support them. And Teemu is going to be taking out Elemental, who's going for the flank. So that's going to be big. And Alliance Moon, they better cap here soon. Okay, there they go. And we are going to be seeing a jump out as well. But Alliance Moon doing such a good job holding on to the zone.
But I appreciate the effort from Overtime, though, because Overtime is so quick to try to respond when they've been either borderline locked out or get close to getting locked out. They're really quick about trying to get back in. And I think a lot of that is to Z-Look, who's getting a nice pick there and pushing forward into the court area of Alliance Moon as we speak. Opting to push Teemu into a 2 versus 1 scenario, ultimately winning the fight, and giving Elemental some room to also push up here and encourage the fight as well. And when you have Mellow on this Reef Slider too, there's a lot of clear avenues here to utilize on Hagglefish, and it's again, I feel like where Reef Slider can really shine, and it can dominate the entire zone.
Yeah, it really can, and that's what they've been banking on pretty much. And of course, being a Dreadringer, that's not a weapon that we see all the time. Having Reef Slider, not always a special that we see. People are never like, oh, we need a Reef Slider here. This is what we need to win the game. But and of course, Overtime, they've never really needed it so far because they've been in control pretty much this entire time. And unless Alliance Moon can do anything, but no, they can't. Overtime is going to be taking game 4 here, and the most convincing game that we have seen so far.
Yeah, and I find it interesting that Alliance Moon counter-picked Splat Zones again, because Overtime won on Splat Zones last time. And so that always piques my interest when the team that wins the mode beforehand, and you end up picking it, do they actually win the mode again? Is there a reason that they pick it? I mean, as far as from all of the evidence that I've seen lately with Overtime, there is a reason that they pick Splat Zones for counter picks, or that they have proven that Splat Zones is a good counter pick for them. I mean, especially Barnacle and Dime, Falco, you do not want to be caught with your pants down if you're against Overtime on Barnacle, Dime, Splat Zones. I mean, they absolutely dominate on that map mode specifically. And for those of you that watched Low Ink last month, if you know, you know, on day 2, because it was insane.
Give us a refresher, Saf. Give us a refresher.
I mean, that is Overtime's bread and butter map mode combo to lock people out. They get in the zone immediately and they push the other team into a lockout scenario. Every time that it's either been counterpicked by them or I've seen them play this map mode, it is absurd how quickly they can push people into a lockout scenario in that instance. So that's also why I found it interesting that why Alliance Moon ended up counterpicking Splat Zones against them, because it seems like Splat Zones is Overtime's mode to be most successful on. So
yeah, well, we'll have to see. So let's talk about this right now. So Alliance Moon, the only one we know they can't choose is Claim Blitz. That's what they've won on. If they were to go to Rainmaker, they could do Humpback, Scorch, or Undertow. And honestly, they didn't do terrible in Undertow. It was just an unfortunate beginning in Game 3 that we saw, I think. But they held on pretty well. And zones, it looks lucrative just because you have those 5 maps that you can choose. Like, you do have the most options there. But like you said, with you got to know, it's like your counter pick, you got to know who you're facing. They're going to go to Rainmaker Scorch. I think this will be better suited for them.
Yes.
You just don't want to happen what happened in that Rainmaker game, where you have overtime, gets the wipeout, gets the checkpoint, pushes then some, and gets all the way to like 30, and they're playing Turf War. They're going back to Splatfest for the rest of the game.
There's no slick story about here.
Yeah,
I feel like that's ultimately an undertow where the points either make or break you.
Yeah, no, that's a good point too. That's a good point. But guys, remember to get your channel points in for this game. Again, you can bet after every single game. Here we go for these matches rather than just a set. So you can be a big spender if you're feeling a little spicy. You can do some little baby points if you don't want to go all in. So we don't encourage gambling here, but hey, for fake internet points, we can encourage it all that we want.
Everything's made up and the points don't matter, but they do matter if you care about them. All right, Scorch, Rainmaker, Falco. Look at this. Lock switching on over to that Squeezer. I think that's going to be a good pick for them, having that wall. There's a lot of bottlenecky situations on a map like this, so that wall is going to be really great. Stealth jump all around. Also to point out, except for the ballpoint being held onto by Bubbles on overtime.
Yeah, and I think too, like, you don't really need stealth jump on a backline like that. Well, you're hoping that you don't die very often, so that you're not going to be jumping in as often enough. And then typically you don't want to be jumping to one of your frontline players. So that all kind of reason checks. Overtime going to be doing exactly what they did during that Rainmaker Undertow game, which is pick it up. We're taking the checkpoint, and I feel like, you know, Scorch, that can be pretty easy. You know, it's not super hard to get there, just because if some players are farther away or not in a good position to guard the checkpoint, it can be a little more difficult. But they're not done. They're not done pushing this. A few players are going to go down on Alliance Moon. Z-Look is going to be picking up the Rainmaker, but going to be going down. I didn't know if they were home free trying to get a good run. I know. I was like, oh man.
Yeah, that was a long time to wait.
Yeah.
Look at this though, overtime's once again quick to get back into mid as Alliance Mode is trying to shape, get into formation here to push back into mid. They have two specials on the line, which is going to come out, and the back eight to try to suspend that Rainmaker from pushing forward. But when you find overtime in a 3-down scenario, Alliance Moon is actually going to take the clap back here and finding themselves in the court of overtime, picking up the Rainmaker again and flipping the lead. Shark going to be holding on to this Rainmaker behind the pillow here, unfortunately finding themselves sandwiched between a rock and a hard place in that corner, down to the 40 mark for Alliance Moon. But with everybody up on overtime here, just trying to build a little bit of special, but now with 2 members down, once again, Alliance Moon is in a really, really good position here to try to get some more points for themselves.
Yeah, and I think that's what they need to do. Now, they're going to be backing out because they don't have the player advantage, but again, they haven't had many opportunities where they've been on the offensive side, where they've had the player advantages, where they were making overtime struggle a little bit. So you have to take advantage of every time that comes your way, and that's ultimately what got them to 40. And you know, they're able to take the lead, and lucky for them, now they're the ones who are going to be kind of playing this safe route, making sure that overtime doesn't have any sneaky pushes. Of course, they're going to be watching for Z-Look. That is the player you need to watch out for, who's going to be making those sneaky plays. And I know they're not playing a very sneaky weapon right now. They're playing Shot, I believe. So, you know, it's not like the Carbon. It's not, you know, a Brush or anything that would really warrant, like, oh, they're going to be sharpening the whole time. But I think that's the person you want to go for right away once you see that they're alive.
Yeah, I really appreciate Elemental's squid bagging to try to get out of a sticky situation and ultimately surviving at the end of it here. Overtime, just stalling, an unbelievable stall here to try to push this Rainmaker forward. I mean, Elemental has virtually 10 seconds left before exploding on the dot here, but if Timu's going to push them into the corner, finally overtime going down and losing their pickup on the Rainmaker with a skirmish happening in the midsection here. Different trades going back and forth on both sides. Nobody picking up the Rainmaker again quite yet. We're just kind of looking to see where we can take some fights here, and especially if you have Z-Look pushing the helm for overtime. Once again, they're going to be picking up this Rainmaker, trying to get past this first checkpoint area. But so much paint, though, for Alliance Move to have. I mean, between the 3 shooters and the Stamper, plenty of room to work with here and a lot of range as well. So, I mean, Alliance really just has to be careful to not allow Z-Look to get in. But with a 2 versus 2 scenario, I mean, again, just suspending them over in that bottleneck side on the left there. Alliance Moon just has to play this carefully, especially with a minute left to go. They don't want to overextend, but they also don't want to give Overtime any more space to try to push them out of the midsection. They kind of just need to hold on to it here and just play around, fiddle fart around for the time to run out.
And this is really the first time they've picked up the Rainmaker in 2 minutes, because Elemental held onto it for pretty much the entire duration and then immediately picked it up again. And that's not something you see that teams who are behind do. That's like, that's the winner mentality, but look at this. This is going to be an opportunity. So that's going to be huge. Getting the delayed wipeout, and for them, for Overtime, they don't have the checkpoint they have to get through. Having to try and push through this 40 mark. We're going to be seeing some players push forward as well. Elemental, but look at this flank from Ace. Ace is going to be taking them down, but Melanoma is going to, Melomania is going to be taking them down as well. So they're going to be the only ones alive. And Alliance Moon just waiting to contest. They just need to contest this. But no, the wipeout! Oh my god! That's a huge Slider! Elemental with the bag. The bag before taking the lead. Literally, he's like, I got this. I got this. I got this. Oh my god.
Oh my god, the posturing coming from Mello has to be huge right now. Like, insane.
That was... Oh my gosh. Okay, other than me losing 30,000 channel points on that game, that was... I know, I didn't want to say anything until the game ended, because I was like, oh, I'm gonna get some points, I'm gonna get some points, and then I saw the reef slide, I was like, oh my god! That was insane. And the thing is...
Falco, will you take a peek at the chat right now? I mean, look at this.
I know, I see you guys. We're all losing it. We are all losing it. I have 184 left, 84,000 left. It's fine. I'm fine.
Wow.
But
I mean, play of the game by Mello.
No, that reef slider.
Holy moly.
Especially because Melomania, they were the only one alive, and then I think it was like a jump in with the, I don't know if it was a jump in with the reef slider, but it was definitely, it caught us off guard. It was, surprise!
Yeah, for real, for real.
And I hope we get to see it on the replay. I don't know if JPEG caught it, but the bag by Elemental at the end before actually taking the lead was so funny.
Okay. But just to recap here, Z-Look was just serving through a lot of this. They were trying to take this fight over on the side. They picked up the Rainmaker again. I mean, Overtime was just in this area at all times, even during this point when Alliance Moon was getting the first checkpoint break. You could see Overtime was already immediately gunning it for that left-hand side, trying to throw some bombs, trying to throw ink down, do anything that they could to stop Alliance Moon in their path, in their tracks. They got down to the 40. We're almost a minute down, or a minute left in the game here. Special's coming out. Overtime trying to make a push, trying to get in and cause some havoc, cause some pressure. But Alliance Moon just had such good control of mid for a lot of that last minute. And they were able to take the Rainmaker back out into the midsection, putting it into a more neutral position. But again, the beginning, it was foreshadowed. Falco, it was foreshadowed. There was Mello with the reef slider taking, I believe, a double or a triple pick there. And then in the final moments, in the final overtime seconds that we had,
right here. Here's
Mello.
the bag.
This
is that little taunt.
Absolutely
oh my god.
Absurd. And look at this. Of course, Alliance Moon goes to old, reliable tower control Inkblot. I've said it once, I'll say it 1,000 times. Tower control Inkblot. I'm like frothing at the mouth. Old, reliable is tower control Inkblot. So this was a good counter pick by Alliance Moon. This is, I think, the one that they need to make. If they feel that they can do it.
We haven't seen tower yet. We haven't seen tower control yet. But so we're ready to hop in. Let's see. Overtime is up 4-1. Again, this is a best of 9. Overtime wins this game. They win this series, set, scrim, sweaty scrim. This is a sweaty scrim. Scrim or
sweaty
results
scrim
matter.
Saturdays. IPL versus on IPL Splatoon with JPEG, Saf, and Falco. We're in match point here. Alliance Moon versus Overtime. full reliable.
We're going to see the Glugas come out. Saf, Alliance Moon, they're bringing out the Glugas for the, I believe, for the first time this time.
They have a gold badge. They have a gold badge. Whoever has those Glugas in their hand, and I believe it is Lox there. They have a gold badge for it, so I mean, I believe it. I believe in it. There goes a pick.
They're cooking. They're cooking. They got through that first checkpoint, and then somehow they're going to have to wait for, I believe that was Elemental who was behind. They are wisely able to take them out, but here comes, okay, the reslider, never mind. I thought that was going to, like, slide right onto the tower, but I was...
Pop up twice. Can't let them pop up
No,
3 times.
just, they got to wait till the end of the game. They got to wait till the end of the game to cook.
It's the rules.
It's the rules. But look, like you said, Lox is really tearing it up here. But he even mentioned the Clash Blaster on the side of Overtime.
What?
That's going to be... That's going to be the Z-Look who's bringing it out, I believe. No, yeah, that's I believe that's Z-Look who has it.
I'm interested for how Monkey is feeling being on this stage, considering in Lowing they phased through the floor last time we saw them on the big screen here. They phased through the environment and fell through the floor.
I remember that. Oh my god, that clip was going around Twitter.
Again.
It was so funny.
I wonder how they're feeling about that, to be back on this stage once again. I'm sure they've been back here before, since that's happened. But now being on stream again, back here before, fighting one of their rivals, it's got to be kind of fun to think about. Maybe it's come up in conversation. I mean, especially because Overtime now at the first checkpoint here, Falco, and it's going to fall immediately as once again Alliance Moon is just kind of staggered at the moment, trying to get back in here. Those fights being taken up in the bats and on the plat. But I mean, Overtime with 3 of them there, but the 2 down scenario by Shark there, allowing Timu some space to work with to try to push Monkey out. The lead is going to be taken by Overtime. However, the Tri-Strikes are going to come out and defend the backside, but when you have Alliance Moon now pushing in onto their plat, Bubbles able to make a really crafty escape there. Overtime taking it to 29.
Yeah, they are not on. There seem to be no stopping them right now, but Ace is going to be doing that. Going to be keeping a few of their members alive as well as they try and break through into mid. But yeah, Overtime had such a good push there, and what they did a good job too is maintaining a ton of map control. That's why we see Alliance Moon just struggling to break back in. I think Overtime has really been just holding on. And yeah, okay, hello, Melamania. Good job there.
Good game. What a save!
What a save! But hey, it's not over yet. They have 2 minutes left if they want to try and hold on, and 2 members are going to be going down on the side of Overtime. So Locke's going to be getting a nice pick with the Glugas, going to be chasing down Z-Look, who's going to be going down as well. So Alliance Moon,
can they make it 3?
Let's see. Oh, going up to the Booyah to avoid that splat bomb. I know that probably wasn't intended, but definitely a benefit from them. So we will see still a 2-player advantage, a delayed
huge.
They don't have anyone on the... Okay, now they're back on the tower. Can they take the lead? Ace tearing it up. Can they take out the pencil? No, but it's going to be enough for them to take the lead. That is going to be really good. Going up for the Booyah as well, taking out Z-Look. And can they keep this going? They really want to get past this 3rd checkpoint. That is going to be a huge lead for them if they can do it, and they do. 2 members are going to be down once again. Can they push all the way? Just the Glugas alive. Are they going to be getting a flank? They get 1, and that is going to be the push, it looks like, getting all the way to 3.
Just a minute of defense from Alliance Moon, and they are still in it to win it here. But look at this, once again, Overtime, just so quick to get back into the map here. You can see Locke trying to push themselves back. They don't want to be taken out by this blaster, but the trade going down, a 3 versus 3 scenario here, and Alliance Moon losing a little bit of their aggressive power there with the shot going down, but with the juice coming out here, the risks are theirs to take, and this is where the trades can be taken. Although now finding themselves in a 2-down scenario, make it 3. Monkey almost finding themselves in the trade. Overtime is going to be pushing the tower again here, but not before Locke is able to get a double pick and canceling the Reef Slider at that, coming out from Overtime. You can see Z-Look was trying to come in and get cause a little bit more damage, and they're going to do so as they take Ace and Shark down in the process. This is kind of just becoming a firefight back and forth. Overtime still has so much ground to make up here, and especially with 2 of their members pushing forward here, trying to take fights in the plat against 4. I mean, there are 2 that are behind. Got to be really careful, especially with the GG Booyah coming out. There goes Ace. Alliance Moon is still in it, Falco. They're still here.
They are still here with a 4-1 deficit going on to a 4-2. Couldn't quite get the knockout, but man, that was so close. Again, anytime they had the tower, anytime they had the objective, they did a fantastic job pushing forward, getting a lot of their players up. Because over time, they never had an opportunity where they had all four players alive during that push until the very end, when it was just the Glugas who were alive, and then they went down. So that was huge for Alliance Moon to get that win. And again, now Overtime is going to be making a counter pick for the first time since the game 3. So they're definitely going to be good, and I got 88,000 channel points from that. So I'm only
You're
saying
back.
that because I'm
so
back. I'm also like I know it's a faux pas for the commentator to say who they bet on, but I always do it for the underdogs, and by underdogs I mean the team who's not winning. So yeah, this is so fun, Saf. This is such a fun set. And, like, a lot of the times, and we saw this for Ludi, a lot of the times they just end 5-0 or just kind of like la-di-da. But knowing that we have two teams who go head-to-head, nail-to-nail, blood versus blood, really bringing out the guns the entire time, they give us the quality production that we love to see.
Yeah, agreed. And I'm really glad that we could have a set tonight where there's a lot of narrative and there's a lot of rivalry and stuff. And you can tell just by the squid bagging. I mean, it's all friendly, it's all in good fun, but it's like two teams that have played each other so much and have grown at the exact same pace since they started their runs as a competitive team. So it's interesting to see how their growth has paralleled one another. And I think Alliance Moon showed that in this one here. It's kind of interesting. Overtime really is so strong on spot zones, as we discussed earlier, and Clan Blitz, but then Alliance Moon can be really strong on Rainmaker as well as tower control. So now that Alliance Moon has won tower control, that is not something they can pick, so they have to opt to pick maybe a mode that they're not as strong at, or that Overtime maybe has a better time with. Yeah.
We Zones Barnacle is what Overtime is choosing for this next one, and you mentioned it earlier.
See?
Yeah. No, you mentioned it, where you're like, that Zones is their mode, and thankfully for Overtime, they just need to win one. They win this Splat Zones, they're good, because all they had to do was lose one game to make Zones eligible again. So yeah, that is huge for them in this. For this time, or no, because they won Rainmaker, Zones is now eligible for them on this counter pick. So again, Overtime just needs to win one. Again, it's the best of 9. Alliance Moon, this would be huge if they take this game. And I know they're thinking it one game at a time. You don't even want to think about, okay, well, Overtime would get another counter pick after that.
There's a reason this is their counter pick. There's a reason this is their counter pick, because they are so good at this. I promise you. You are so right. It's not only huge if Alliance Moon takes this because they will still be in it for sure, but it's also just because Overtime is so good at Spot Zones Barnacle. Like, I can't express this enough. They are so good at it. So if Alliance Moon takes this, there's a lot of different trophies to be taken just from this one game.
Right. Yeah, it's like, obviously, you take this game, you're not winning the whole set right then and there, but you're defeating a team who, that is their bread and butter mode, as you kind of pointed out. Zones is what they are doing really, really good for, too. So let's see if Alliance Moon can take it. Let's see if they can overcome Overtime here on Game 7, or if Overtime will be able to seal the deal and win this set.
Okay, and honestly, the comp coming out from Overtime is exactly what they had played previously to put it in the bag, and with Z-Look on that shot, it's going to be huge, okay, this is interesting. So Elemental is actually not here this time, which, when Overtime was in Alpha Bracket of Low Ink and playing this, Elemental was also not playing with them. So this, I believe, is the roster that likes to show up for Barnacle Dime Zones. And already you can see the Crab Tank is out. Alliance Moon has a Crab Tank of their own. Mello was trying to go in for the flank there, was able to take one, but not the other. Z-Look is still there to help out and follow up, though, and Teemo is finding themselves alone, with Fox trying to shut them out with the stamp, but just not quite enough here. Again, Overtime, only a minute into the game, they have firm control of the zone, and they are already pushed up onto that snipe area.
Yeah, and they're doing a really good job holding this. We see Alliance Smooth, they're trying to throw everything they can with the point sensors and just a few bombs here and there to maybe cap the zone, like we see some of those burst bombs, but really nothing is sticking for them quite yet. Now Alliance Moon, they are going to be able to contest.
Okay.
They do take the zone, so that's going to be big. Lox is going to be getting that stamp, there's going to be throwing it. Can they take out Mellow? They opt to probably don't see them because we can see the names. They obviously can't. But Lox is in a very tricky position. Are they? How are they still alive?
Distraction City.
That was huge, but that's also huge for overtime as, you know, they had a 3-player advantage, able to cap the zone once again. I don't think they're going to have much problem getting through these penalty points that they had because they're doing such a good job identifying where Alliance Moon members are.
Yeah, they sure are. And Melomania, again, the brief slider, using that to their advantage to try to just break in there. Z-Look coming back out with the squid bags there as they get one pick, looking to get the other, trying to throw some bombs to push them out. Their penalty now being gone, they're pushing down into the 30-second mark here, so Alliance Moon has got to be careful. They don't want to be going in for any trades here. They do need to try to get as much ink on the floor as possible. Contesting the zone here, but also trying to take some fights as well because they want to remove the inking power from overtime. And as they do, the ink storm is going to come out, causing a little poking damage, but are they able to take the fights before? No! Before overtime is going to push the zone back into their favor again and pushing them into a 2-down scenario. This is a tough one to win, Falco.
It is, and you just have the crab. You know, you can paint a little bit, but everything is going to be thrown your way, and once you're done with that crab, you're dead. And, of course, you had a friend jump to you, and they're going to be down too as well. So overtime, now in a very good position, almost done with their penalty points, and still have the player advantage with about 5 seconds remaining here on the penalty points. And, again, they're doing such a good job pushing forward, staggering enough that they can watch any player drop from any way, and unless you have a miracle of a special come through to try and cap, that's game. Overtime is going to be winning this set on IPL versus against Alliance Moon, winning 5-2.
There's a reason! There's a reason that Particle Dime is their counterpick, dude! I'm just saying. And it's right here because they just know how to play it like textbook. They know what to do, they know how to play it, they know how to spread themselves out, and they have the comp that works for them.
It was really impressive there, and like, you know, Alliance Moon, they did a good job from time to time pushing forward, capping, but it's so difficult when you know kind of what the not that you know what the counterpick is going to be, but you just assume like, okay, it's going to be zones, they're going to do zones. And like you said, Elemental subbed out. This is exactly what happened before. So they're running with what worked before. They're not trying anything fancy, especially for a decisive game win. So overtime, yeah, a well-deserved win here against Alliance Moon. And so far, they've recently taken over, you know, how many set wins they have against Alliance Moon. I believe this was the 6th time that these two teams have faced each other. And overtime, I believe, according to that, maybe they are 4-2 right now, maybe 5-2 in this set, just basically how the score ended. But both of these teams, we love to see them go head-to-head.
Yeah, I mean, Alliance Moon put up a really fantastic fight, but I knew as soon as overtime was going to find themselves in that counterpick scenario of where they were going to be at match point, that was the only solution. The most logical solution for them to pick was going to be Zones Barnacle. And I mean, even on this replay here, you can see right away. So they were the first ones to get points on the board. Alliance Moon trying to break out here and get something going, but Z-Look is already in the spawn, taking 2 down, finding themselves in a little difficult of a fight. Alliance Moon did get on the board, though. They were able to get some points in. They were able to push forward. They tried to pressure their cooler there. You could see Lox. This was an insane play by Lox at that. I mean, just surviving for that amount of time, even though just a few seconds doesn't seem like very long. For Lox, I bet it felt like an eternity at that moment there. But again, the next replay already, 44 points by overtime. This is just textbook set in stone, their counterpicking map. And I mean, the squid bagging from Z-Look also sells that notion as well.
Yeah, and I mean, that's what we love to see too. And that's how, I mean, I knew there was going to, oh, that was a really good double too. But I knew we were going to see the GG squid bag at the end of this game because Alliance Moon, they were really nowhere near the zone. And we can kind of see it here. They kind of bunched up. I thought they were going to do just like some drip of just celebrate. They kind of did. They kind of did do a drip. But it was a well-deserved win there for overtime. And such a fun set. Literally I think every game except that Zones Hagglefish where overtime just really cooked. And honestly, both Zones game where they just they were unstoppable.
All three? All three?
Yeah, all three. You're right. Yes, game one, too. Game one was very entertaining for us because we saw a lot of the things for the first time too. So that
Zones and Rainmaker is overtime. It's all overtime, baby.
Yeah, that was really, really impressive. But yes, so the question is, do these results count toward? Are these results? Technically, this is a scrim. If you ask me, I say yes. I say yes. These are results because you go into this knowing like, hey, this is like a sweaty head-to-head match. This is for results. You basically sign ahead of time. We are doing this for results. So, you know, I love it. I love it. IPL Versus is so fun. Of course, this is only the second one, hopefully of many that we're going to be having here on IPL. So if you haven't, definitely drop a follow to get notified when IPL goes live for a lot of their other great productions too. But shout out to JPEG, who's the producer and who literally did everything for IPL Versus, is like the contact person, did the stream. Here's all of our credits. Yes. So very, very nice for JPEG to get this together and along with the other IPL staff. And of course, shout out to Overtime and Alliance Moon for allowing us to show their match. That is always what we love to see, and we always appreciate that. But that is going to be it for Saf and I. We are honored that we could be on the mic here for the second ever IPL Versus, first of 2024. So, Saf, it's been a pleasure, as always. I love commentating with you. Where can we find you? I
love commentating with you so much, and I just love you. I'll admit it. You can all know that.
I love you too.
He says thank you. Wow. Okay. You can find me on...
I love you too.
Twitter.
Okay.
Hey, listen. Lower your voice. You can find me on Twitter. That's 2 P's, 2 A's at Safirio. You can find me running the streets of Austin, Texas for Low Tide City in May, just a few months away. You could also find me looking for mushrooms. You can find me talking about plants. You can find me just doing my ecology thing and also writing things in my planner. Falco, I'm so forgetful. I need to write things down in my planner, but while I'm thinking about it, I'll write it down too. Where can the good people find you?
You can find me Falco Flyer on Twitch, FalcoFlyer11 on Twitter. I'm repping Team Family for Splatfest along with over like half of the Splatoon community. And yes, it's been a pleasure as always, Saf. Thank you very much. We are going to be rating Squid Junction over on Zapples. They are a bi-weekly Saturday night tournament that happens for all levels to enjoy. It's always a fun tournament to watch. So thank you guys again for watching IPL Versus. We will see you next time with the next edition.